Mr. Sloan, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your testimony today. And I can say I've been a customer of the bank for 40 years. And in Applewood, Colorado, the people at that branch have just really been excellent. So I'm happy about that. I'm not happy about the 14 consent decrees or the $14 billion or so of settlements that you have, that the bank has entered into. And I want to ask you about a specific area.
Sure.
Where I think there's a lot that can be done to continue to remediate your reputation and your customers' harms. All right? So it's on guaranteed auto protection, guaranteed asset protection. And that's the insurance, the add-on insurance that people had to get to cover the difference between whatever the loan amount was and a collision or something like that to cover the bank. So, you say we are dedicated to compensating every customer who suffered harm because of our mistakes. That's your testimony today.
That's correct.
I look at the settlement that you entered into with the attorneys general.
Yes.
And at paragraph 22, it says, Wells Fargo has agreed to provide refunds of the unearned portion of the cost of GAP, guaranteed auto insurance, to auto finance customers in certain states whose laws impose refund-related obligations through statutory provisions. It's only 11 states.
That's correct.
Okay? So for the other 39 states and the District of Columbia and the territories, what are you doing?
We're not going to be refunding those customers because that transaction was actually a transaction between the customer and the auto dealer. We were not involved in the customer's decision to buy that insurance. In those it was originally 9 states and now 11 states, there was a requirement, and we should have had better operational oversight to ensure that when the auto loan was paid off, that the GAP refunds were received by the customer, and those are the customers that will be remediating.
So if there is a gap, if there is a refund due, you're paying it.
That's correct.
Okay? And you paid at least that in 11 states to these attorneys general.
We're paying it directly to the customer.
Paying it directly to the customer. But you're saying in the other 39 states, that wasn't the case?
That's correct.
So I understand there is litigation as to this particular issue in California. And, really, just listening to your testimony today, I do want to believe that the bank is looking out to correct the wrongs of the past and move forward in a positive way with its customers in the future. But as I understand it, in that litigation in California, which is a class action, you've demanded arbitration so that each individual person has to bring a claim for $100 or $200 against Wells Fargo. Now, that, in my opinion, how do you square that? We are dedicated to compensating every customer who suffered harm because of our mistakes.
Congressman, again, the transaction that you're describing, which is when an auto customer in dealing with a dealer buys that GAP insurance, is a transaction between the auto customer and the dealer. In 11 states, our responsibility was not to impact that decision. Our responsibility was to make sure that when the auto loan was paid off, the dealer paid the customer back.
You're saying the transaction was different in those 11 states than in the other 39 states?
No, the transaction was the same. Our responsibility in those states was different. Had our responsibility been similar...
Now we're getting to the real point. You really, in a kind of a magnanimous gesture, have said, we're going to take care of anybody who was harmed. And here you say, okay, 11 states, you got a certain law, and we're going to treat you different than the 39 states in the District of Columbia because we're going to force you into arbitration. I hope that's not your testimony today.
What we are doing is my testimony, and Congressman, again...
So you are demanding the arbitration?
In California, we are.
And what about the other 38 states and I guess...
I don't believe we're responsible.
What bothers me is that you've really taken some positive steps, but now you're backing up and saying, you know what, you want that $100, sue me. individually or demand arbitration. I yield back.